When it comes to the recent attacks on Crimea, there was a U.S. reconnaissance plane that was spotted in the area, and this points to the fact that the USA could have been directly involved providing data. In addition to that, we now have this promise from Biden to send long-range ATACMS missiles. So at what point does the United States become a partisan of this conflict? At what point does this actually become a direct conflict with the United States, not simply a proxy conflict via Ukraine? When do we define the United States as being involved?
There are legal norms pursuant to which a country is identified as being a direct party to hostilities, and and Western countries are doing everything possible to avoid them, not to mention them. But the fact that they are effectively engaged in hostilities with us using the Ukrainians as fodder, we see that those who are here present, those who have even the slightest interest in the huge flow of information and analytical material that is emerging in connection with the Ukrainian situation, they know perfectly well that Americans and the British and many others are engaged in hostilities. They are waging war, first and foremost, through the deliveries of more and more volumes and quantities of weapons. Today, in the statement at the General Assembly, I mentioned the figures about $170 billion at least being invested in Ukraine alone. Against the backdrop, and the statistics are also available to follow the promises, volumes, and timelines that the Western country provided to the Africans and other countries requiring assistance, first and foremost in terms of development and to address issues linked to climate change. One can't compare this even slightly. There's no comparison. Consider the credits provided to developing countries with the IMF, World Bank, and even the International Association for Development. Ukraine was provided with credits of approximately 700% of its quota. Nobody has ever done this, 700% of the quota. And Ukraine's debt is significant. And they have been allowed not to pay this until 2027. Such concessional and quick decisions are not taken were never ever taken with respect to any other country. But so on the weaponry, that's clear. Turning to instructors, that's also clear. There are training of instructors in Poland, in Germany, in the United Kingdom. I am certain that there are instructors working in large quantities on Ukrainian soil as well. And of course, there are many mercenaries there, many of whom are official officers, but the mercenary status allows them to avoid a crossing of that legal threshold. But special information on satellites. We read about the statements about Elon Musk and his Starlink company's position, but military satellites are working throughout. Intelligence aircraft are also located and identified in the air, and U.S. reconnaissance planes, U.S. and British reconnaissance planes, are not only helping to identify objectives and targets, but they are showing where our air defenses are working so that next time they could help. So you can call this whatever you want to call this, but they are directly at war with us. We call this a hybrid war, but that doesn't change the reality.